The U.S. and the Philippines on Thursday announced American forces will gain access to 4 new military bases in the Pacific Island nation, expanding a staging ground as Washington seeks to counter China in the region. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in Manila met his Philippine counterpart and hailed the agreement as a significant security measure.
We discussed concrete actions to address destabilizing activities in the waters surrounding the Philippines, including the West Philippine Sea. And we remain committed to strengthening our mutual capacities to resist armed attack.
It comes amid mounting concern over China's increasing assertiveness in the disputed South China Sea and tensions over self-ruled Taiwan. A spokesperson for China's foreign ministry on Thursday countered that America was to blame for rising tensions in the region and said American access to Philippine bases, quote, hurts regional peace and stability. America has been flexing its Pacific military might. Last month, American F-18 Hornets roared off the deck of the USS Nimitz as the aircraft carrier navigated through the South China Seas. Austin's visit to the Philippines follows a trip to key ally South Korea. This week, American and South Korean forces staged joint military drills featuring heavy bombers and stealth fighters. Those drills provoked a furious condemnation from Pyongyang. North Korea on Thursday said American drills in the region reached a, quote, extreme red line and threatened to turn the peninsula into a, quote, huge war arsenal and a more critical war zone. Last year, North Korea conducted a record number of ballistic missile tests, which are banned by UN Security Council resolutions. It was also observed reopening its shuttered nuclear weapons test site, raising expectations of a nuclear test for the first time since 2017. Asked about the North Korean warnings, Austin said the U.S. would stand by its ally, Seoul.
We remain committed to our extended deterrence commitment, and we're very serious about that when it comes to the ROK. And we will continue to work alongside our allies and train and ensure that we maintain credible and ready forces.
Words matter. Rhetoric matters. It leads to harm.
House Republicans ousted Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee on Thursday over remarks that were widely condemned as anti-Semitic.
The Congresswoman is being held accountable for her words and her actions.
Omar's removal from the high-profile committee comes 2 years after Democrats removed Republicans Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar from their committee assignments after incendiary remarks, and a tweet that showed Gosar appearing to kill Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes, and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
The deeply divided House voted 218 to 211 along party lines to remove Omar from the committee, with Republicans citing remarks for which she later apologized, including a 2019 tweet that suggested Israel supporters in U.S. politics were motivated by money, not principle. Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said Omar's ouster from the committee was not revenge.
We're not removing her from other committees. We just do not believe when it comes to foreign affairs, especially the responsibility of that position around the world with the comments that you make. She shouldn't serve there. But this is what if it was tit for tat, we would have picked people, took them off all committees, and said nothing about it.
Omar of Minnesota, who arrived in the United States as a refugee from Somalia, is the only African-born member of Congress and one of the few Muslim women in the House. In defiant remarks on the House floor, Omar vowed that she would not be silenced.
I will continue to speak up for families around the world who are seeking justice, whether they are displaced in refugee camps or they are hiding under their beds somewhere like I was, waiting for the bullets to stop. Because this child, survivor of war, would have wanted that. And my leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been.
McCarthy also rejected assignments of Democrats Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell to the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Both played major roles in the impeachments of Republican former President Donald Trump.
The hugely popular Chinese-owned app TikTok has long been at the center of controversy for being a potential national security risk. And now a U.S. senator is seeking to ban it from the country's two largest app stores. Democrat Michael Bennet, a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, on Thursday sent a letter to Apple CEO Tim Cook and Alphabet chief executive Sundar Pichai saying TikTok should be removed from both the Apple and Google Play app stores. Congress has already banned TikTok, which is owned by Chinese company ByteDance, from federal government devices. The social media app, which showcases short videos, has come under increasing criticism because of concern that China's government could use it to harvest data on Americans or to advance Chinese interests. In his letter to Cook and Pichai, Senator Bennet wrote, quote, "No company subject to Chinese Communist Party dictates should have the power to accumulate such extensive data on the American people or curate content to nearly a third of our population. Given these risks, I urge you to remove TikTok from your respective app stores immediately." Prior to Bennett's letter, Republicans have largely led the charge on TikTok and its potential national security concerns, although Democratic Senator Dick Durbin previously urged Americans to stop using the app. In the U.S. House of Representatives, which is now in Republican hands, the Foreign Affairs Committee plans to hold a vote this month on a bill aimed at blocking TikTok's use in the U.S. In 2020, then-President Donald Trump attempted to block new users from downloading TikTok, but the move was rebuffed by the courts. For its part, the company says that China's government cannot access the personal data of U.S. citizens or manipulate the app's content.
The US says it's monitoring a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon spotted above Montana. If confirmed, it would be a brazen act just days ahead of a planned trip to Beijing by US Secretary of State Antony Blinken. This video, captured in the city of Billings, showed what appeared to be the suspected spy balloon. Officials said fighter jets were mobilized to potentially shoot it out of the sky. The Pentagon advised President Joe Biden against doing so, for fear debris could pose a safety threat. It said the balloon was traveling at an altitude well above commercial air traffic and did not present a military or physical threat to people on the ground. Reuters spoke to the eyewitness who shot the video, Chase Doak.
I was looking out the window like I normally do, and I just happened to spot it out of the corner of my eye. And at first I thought it was a star, but I thought that was kind of crazy because it was broad daylight. And when I looked at it, it was just too big to be a star.
The incident may highlight the lengths to which Beijing and Washington have been willing to go to spy on each other, amid rising tensions between the superpowers. Blinken is expected to travel to China next week for a visit agreed to in November by Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping. It was not clear how the discovery of the spy balloon might affect those plans. John Paracchini is a senior international defense researcher at the think tank RAND.
It's not clear that it is going to see anything more of the United States that the Chinese satellites already see. So the timing is unusual and in many respects unfortunate. President Biden has talked about keeping lines of communication open to the Chinese government, and Secretary Blinken's trip to the People's Republic of China in the coming days was part of that effort. So this creates a complication for both the United States and China to discuss, and it's an unfortunate provocation.
Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy took to Twitter to voice outrage. China's brazen disregard for US sovereignty is a destabilizing action that must be addressed, he tweeted. President Joe Biden cannot be silent. McCarthy said he would request a Gang of 8 meeting, which is a classified national security briefing for leaders on both sides of the political divide. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said Beijing was verifying the situation and warned against speculation and hype.